And let me tell you something.
Everyone agrees about that.
Rejection.
They might disagree about
Rejection
but that doesn't matter.
is another form of exception.
Okay.
You see, it's not everything that you move towards is for you. Some things God have to reject from you, so that way you can stay on track for what is for you.
I am Mr. Finance, your favorite financial educator, the best of the best, the one and only Mr. Finance.
Remember to hit subscribe right now. Subscribe.
So today there's a networking event that I'll be going to. It's gonna be a real good event. You know, those are the type of events that I love to go to, guys. You know, I educate people, I teach people, but also love to go and network, especially that I'm new down here. It's good to network, guys. Get out, meet people, talk to people, get familiar with people. And you know what? You never know. People that you get to meet and mingle with could be the very same people that you need in order to build your business, build your brand, and definitely talk about what is it that you're about. Because in order for you to start winning in life, you got to position yourself. You got to position yourself in a way where you're networking, you're communicating, you're connecting, and you're definitely sharing ideas with like-minded people. So I tell you, get out there, get familiar with people, get to know people, get to meet people, and share your ideas, share the things that you want to accomplish with them. And guess what? You never know. You may meet the person that you need to get you to that next level. So today I have a few appointments that I have to educate a few people today and teach them, about finance. As you know, I break down simple concepts so people could learn and definitely get the knowledge that they need. So stay tuned. You're gonna definitely get to sit in on one of my sessions as far as how I educate people and how I teach them and give them knowledge and what is it I teach them about. All right. So
what is your financial foundation? What does that look like? What does it look like to prepare your financial foundation? And you're going to learn what are the 4 things you need to have in place. And then you're also going to learn about the wealth formula. Now, we all want to be wealthy. How do we build wealth? You're going to learn what are the step-by-step process in order to build wealth and how to continue using this formula and repeat it. Because being wealthy is not something that you do overnight. It's being consistent and being persistent. Right? It's almost repetitive. It gets boring over time because you got to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So you're going to learn what are some of those things. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your FIN number. How to figure out your FIN number. And figuring out your FIN number is quite easy. And let me share with you what I mean. Now, knowing your FIN number requires you to learn 3 things. You got to know your now, you got to know the later, and you got to know the end, right? So you can write them down just like this. Where you are now represents your current age. Where you're going to be later represents your retirement age. And the end represents your life expectancy. So what I'm going to do is show you an example. What does it mean when we break this down and figuring out your FIN number? So the example we're going to use is that, let's say that, you're 30. Because one of the things that I said that the average person starts saving for their retirement at 30 years old, and the average person want to retire at 65 with $5,000 coming in monthly. The average person lived to 85 years old. The average person retire at 65 years old, and they want $5,000 coming in a month. So if they want $5,000 coming in a month, 12 times a month, right? So 12 times a year, that's mean they want $60,000 coming in every year. So from 65 to 85, which is the average life expectancy for someone, from 65 to 85, that's 20 years they need money coming in. So that is $60,000 a year times 20 for the amount of years that's needed, which gives you $1.2 million that the average person would need in order to retire comfortably, with $5,000 coming in a month from age 65 to 85. So that's always the issue. So the issue is now, all right, great. You figure out what you need. Now, the next thing you got to figure out is how much you need to save. So to figure out how much you need to save, age 30 years old to 65, that means you would have 35 years to save. So from 35 years to save, what you're going to take is what you need. You figure out the need from 65 to 85, which is 1.2 million. So you take that 1.2 million and you divide it by the 35, which then tell you that you would need to save $34,285 a year, or $2,857 a month in order to reach that goal of 1.2 million. So the question that I got to ask is this: which average 30-year-old you know that could save $2,850 a month and still live a comfortable life?
I'm not sure, because I'm like,
Do you see?
it doesn't seem like a lot nowadays.
Put yourself in a position where you can use your W-2 income from your job and fund your 1099 part-time business. And over time, your part-time business will outpay your job. It will. It's just that we got to be patient. Because if you were build a business from 30 all the way to 65, you telling me that in 35 years you won't have a successful business?
Right.
It just needs time. It said the average business takes around 5 to 10 years for it to blow up, right? And be something successful. Some people it's quicker, some people it takes time, right?
And that's where it messes a lot of people up. They like, oh, 5 to 10 years.
Right.
That's too long.
Because some people want the popcorn. They're so used to the popcorn era. They want it right now, right? Instant gratification. Nobody want to put in the work anymore. So that's why when it comes,
the way you break it down, it's like, well, if you know that this business that's taking you 5 or 10 years to build will be, very successful by that time you retire, you will be fine.
Exactly.
You want to go 5 or 10 years anyways, just live it.
So just build a business on a part-time basis while you still work your job.
So that you can have freedom,
Right. One source of income is too close to poverty. You gotta have multiple sources of income. Multiple sources. Let's say the average person need anywhere from 7 to 10 sources of income. Right? Just to survive in today's world.
Yeah.
Just to survive. So ultimately, questions you gotta ask yourself. Well, how long will you need income during retirement? Number 2, do I have enough money saved for your retirement? And number 3, how will my money be taxed when I start to receive it during retirement? And number 4, does working a job alone will give you the lifestyle that you want during your retirement? These are real questions we got to ask ourselves. And if we can't see,
it's crazy because it's like the way you break it down. I'm like, well, do we even really need the life insurance if you was to, kind of start financially planning right now and have enough money?
It's fun. It makes it actually simple and easy and clear and fast to do. And let me show you what I mean by this. When it comes to budgeting, 4 things you need to know. You need to know the rules. You need to know how to pay the bills. You need to know how to save. And you need to know how to spend. Right? These are the things about budgeting that is important to learn. You got to learn these 4 things. So when you break down the 50-30-20 budgeting formula, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say that you make $3,000 a month. Jack and Jill make $3,000 a month, right? Their monthly bills is $2,400.
Is it fair to say they get paid in bills?
Yeah, they can pay their bills. They make $3,000 a month. Their bills is $2,400. Yeah, but that's not what budgeting is about. Budgeting is not about making money to pay bills. Budgeting is about knowing how much you can save and how much you can spend before you do either one of them, right?
Right.
So ultimately, what you do is that you draw these 4 boxes just like this, right? And the first box is called your rules box. The second box is called the bills box. The third box is called the savings box. And the 4th box is called the spending box. This is how you break down your budgeting. And it's simply 4 boxes. It's simple, clear, fast, and doable. So here's the rules to budgeting. The rule says 50% of your income should go towards your bills. Okay? 30% of your income should go towards spending. And 20% of your income should go towards savings. Those are the rules to the budgeting. Now, you always want to take your net pay and multiply it by each percentage, either 0.5, 0.3, or 0.20. This is how you break down your budget. And this is how you're going to break down for each box.
Hey guys, 4 things you need to know before you call yourself financially free. Number 1, you need to know what's your FIN number. Your FIN number stands for your final income number that is needed for retirement. When it comes to your retirement, you need to know 2 things. You need to know how much you need and how much you need to save in order to retire comfortably. Number 2, you need to know what is your budgeting plan. We teach families how to use the 50-30-20 budgeting formula. So that way you know how much you can save and how much you can spend. Budgeting is not tracking your spending. Number 3, you gotta have a financial foundation. You gotta know why it's important to have proper protection,
managing your debt, learning how to put together an emergency fund, and understanding how to save and invest in your money. Number four, you must know what is called the wealth formula. Learning the wealth formula is so important for you to learn if you want to build wealth. You must understand what it means: money plus time plus or minus rate of return minus inflation and minus tax. Click the link if you'd like to learn more. $3,000 a month. You're going to multiply by the 0.50, which is for the bills, 50%. And then that will give you $1,500. Now, when you get that $1,500, Jack and Jill can't pay their entire monthly expenses with 50% of their income. 95% of Americans can't do that. And that's okay. That means that we need to live on our budget. Because if you can't pay your...
Get more into your finances and not just spend just because you feel like you got it.
Right. We got to live on a budget. We got to know how much you can save and how much you can spend. Don't spend $900 yet. We're not done running the formula. Then you're going to go to the savings box. Take the $3,000, multiply by 0.20. That gives you $600. Now you have all the money on the table. So now that you got the $1,500 in the bills box, $900 in the spending box, savings box, you got $600. Now to pay the bills, where should Jack and Jill take that money from to pay the bills? Where do you think they should take it from?
The spending box.
Absolutely. Because if they take it from the spending box, guess what? They can then apply that $900 to the bills, and that gives them $2,400. Now, here's the question though. Where do people typically take the money from in reality?
Saving. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. I just had to do it today to pay some bills. I'm like,
do you see
I
it?
had to go in my savings again, and I'm like, well, then I got these bills over here, but I buy unnecessary stuff, and then I have to pay for all my savings.
It says 20% is $600. So what you gotta do is say, okay, 20 is $600. So what we do is that we call it the half rule. You break down your budget into halves. So you break down the first half of 20, which is 10, right? 10 is half of 20. So that it means half of 600 is 300. So that's the money that you would take to save for your retirement. And then you break down the other 10 into 5. So half of 300 is 150. 150, the first 150 is for your emergency fund. The second 150 is for your spending. And this is how you know how much you can spend each month and how much you can save each month and how much you should put away for each emergency fund. Because you need to have at least 3 to 6 months of your income set aside for emergencies.
Right.
3 to 6 months. And that's why we got to make sure that we live on a budget, because at the end of the day, questions you got to ask yourself. Financial foundation, you got to put together proper protection first. That's the first thing you got to do. And when you talk about proper protection, you got to ask yourself, who am I protecting myself from? Well, it's not so much from somebody, it's from 3 events. And those 3 events is that if you die, and if you have any health problems, and if you have any disability. Now, if I was to ask you right now, Ms. Renita, can you predict when you're going to die, have a health issues, and any disability? Can't. And if you could have, don't tell me when I'm going to die. Okay?
I would want to know.
I don't want to know. Let that one still be a surprise to me. Right? So, the thing is this. What must we have in place? Write this down. 4 things you need to have in place before you die. Number 1, you need life insurance. You need to have life insurance. And number 2, you need to have a final expense insurance. And number 3, you need to have a will. And number 4, you need to have a trust. These are the 4 things you need.
Ask me, how do I empower people? What is that I do to empower them? It's just that I teach financial literacy, guys. It's all about understanding finance. There's 4 things you need to understand when it comes to your finances, all right? You need to know what's your FIN number. You need to know what's your budgeting plan. You need to know how to create a financial foundation. And you need to know the wealth formula. These are the 4 things you need to learn when you're creating that financial foundation and putting together your personal finances, so that way you can position yourself to start winning the money game. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. It's that simple. It's that clear. It's that fast. It's that doable. And once you understand it, you can implement it. And after you create it, all you got to do is continue to just maintain it after that. You just do maintain, updates, moving forward. But once you create a financial foundation, you just pretty much update and maintain moving forward. But putting together your financial foundation is the main thing. Once again, know your FIN number, budgeting, financial foundation, wealth formula. Got it?